I'm very upset with Mr. Goat because he made us late today. I hope you're pleased with yourself, Mr. Goat. Well, we've got a big pile of information today. The big news is obviously that Rafa is not going to play in the Sunshine Devil. No Indian Wells, no Miami. What does it mean? Is Rafa in danger? Should Rafa fans be scared? Is Roger going to hold on to the number one ranking? What does he have to do to hold it? Also, in other news, Juan Carlos Ferrero, the coach of Alexander Zverev, or former coach, has spoken out about the arrogance of a young up-and-coming tennis player that so many people told us this year was going to be a big threat to Roger and Rafa and was going to be just winning everything. And of course, he's been somewhat of a disappointment. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis. I'm your host, Matt Bradshaw. This is the co-host, Mr. Goat, the talking tennis cat who loves Roger Federer. We are the fastest growing tennis talk show in the world, Coffee Break Tennis. In fact, we are being viewed in over 249 countries around the world. Truly the international standard for tennis coverage. Well, isn't that special? Of course, today is the day where we start giving away scratchy, low-quality Coffee Break Tennis t-shirts to people that really want them. All you have to do is be the first to comment or the 20th in honor of RF20, Roger Federer, and I will send you a shirt. Unless you live on the moon, I'll ship it to you. Unless you live in Antarctica, unless you live in the North Pole, I'll ship a shirt to you. I'll pay for the shipping. Actually, he's paying. So the big news, Rafa Nadal not playing Indian Wells. Last week I said this is very likely, but I also said I think he's going to play Miami. I was wrong, and it tells me a lot that he's not playing Miami because he's leaving 600 points on the table. Put the rankings on the screen, please, Mr. Goat, unless you're too busy to be bothered. Roger is currently leading Rafa by exactly 600 points, and he's leading third place Marin Cilic by exactly 6,000 points. Okay, not exactly, but almost 6,000 points. This reminds me of the good old days, 10, 12 years ago when Roger and Rafa, 1 and 2 in the world, way up there with number 3 coming down thousands and thousands of points. So first, let's talk about Rafa. What does it say that he's hurt? I said it says a lot to me. Let me tell you what it says to me. It says that they're going to leave 600 points on the table. They're going to sacrifice the number one ranking because, let's face it, what Roger has to do to hold on to it, very likely that he'll be able to pull this off as long as he's healthy. He appears to be very healthy. Rafa is doing it's his best choice. This is the best thing Team Rafa can do if they want to dominate the clay again like they did last year. So if Rafa wants to keep winning Grand Slams, wants to keep winning majors, this was Rafa's only option. But a lot of scary stuff, red flags here. And I don't want to make, Rafa fans afraid or anything. I'm not trying to spook you guys. This is pretty big because Rafa said they did everything they could do, everything they normally do to prepare, and it wasn't enough. So you have to wonder, what if it wasn't enough to get ready for Mexico and the Sunshine Double? What if everything they can do from here on out is not going to be enough to get ready for clay? That becomes very scary. What if what was normal before in years past? Because, Rafa's dealt with a lot of injuries. They've come back strong almost every single time. I know Rafa's had some little droughts here and there, but overall, the guy just keeps coming back. So what if now, what used to work in the past no longer works? What if it's no longer enough? What if the Rafa body is just too beat down? I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying we all have to wonder, and no one knows what the answer to that is for sure. No one knows how bad it really is, not even Rafa himself. That's why I think there's a lot of doubt and fear in the Rafa camp. So, hey, I love Rafa. Obviously, I don't want him to break Roger's records. I don't want him to beat Roger. Roger's my number one pick. Everyone around the world pretty much prefers Rafa. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. I know some Rafa fans here would disagree with me. With that said, I love Roger and all, but I really would like to see Rafa keep playing, keep winning majors, as long as he's always 1 or 2 behind Roger. So what does this mean for Roger? Let's take a look at some numbers. So when you win a Masters 1000, you get 1,000 points. That's easy enough. Finalists 600, semis 360, quarters 180, round of 16 90. So last year, Roger's 600 ahead now. Maybe we'll put the rankings back on the screen, Mr. Goat, if it's not too much to ask. Roger's 600 ahead now. I believe Roger and Rafa met in the round of 16 last year. That's 90 points, so Rafa is going to be 690 behind Roger. Based on my calculations, if Roger gets to the semifinals at Indian Wells, he'll be about 50 points still ahead of Rafa, because remember, we got to deduct the 90 points that Rafa's defending at Indian Wells from last year, because that, when you don't play, you lose all the points you had last year. So Rafa's going to lose 690 points between the two, but only 90 at the first stage. So Roger, if I was Roger's coach, this is the advice I'd give Roger. I'd say, look, Roger, you really you got to win Miami and you got to win Indian Wells. You got to win them both. And that's what I would advise Roger to do. So anyways, obviously if Roger wins it, yeah, everything's gravy. If he wins in Indian Wells, he doesn't even have to do that great in Miami, because once Miami's over, Rafa will lose 600 points. Now, there is a scenario where, let's say Roger doesn't do well in Indian Wells. He loses number one temporarily, but then in Miami, he has a great opportunity to get it right back, because, of course, Rafa's going to lose 600 points immediately after Miami is over. So Roger, really, if he gets to the semifinals in both tournaments, he's golden. He's got it. So if Roger gets to the semifinals in both tournaments, he's good. I think if he just wins one of them, he's good. There's a lot of options for Roger. I think the other one was if he gets to the finals and the quarterfinals, he's good. So comment below if you think there's any chance that Roger somehow loses this number one ranking. As for me and Mr. Goat, who is now asleep, we're going to move on to the Sasha Zverev story. And before the Sasha Zverev story, I wanted to thank you for watching today and say, without you and people like you in those, 246 countries around the world watching Coffee Break Tennis, none of this would be possible. So thanks a lot. If you like what we're doing and you haven't done it yet, hit subscribe down below. In fact, don't hit subscribe. Smash it. And maybe subscribing is too much for you. Maybe you're not ready for that commitment. But you can always flirt with us a little bit and just give us a little touch like, a little thumbs up. Just like that. Former world number one, Juan Carlos Federer, has hit back at Alexander Zverev's comments about him not respecting the team. This is what Sasha, the boy wonder, said. World number 5 boy wonder Sasha Zverev claimed yesterday that the Spaniard didn't respect the team, and that led to a heated argument as well as the departure of Federer. However, in an interview with La Marca, Federer has now hit back at Zverev and explains that it was his bad discipline, and here's the big one, arrogance, that led to his departure. What I asked from the first day is to respect the team. Among other things, I asked him to be a little more punctual, telling him that it was not right that he would arrive 20 or 30 minutes late to training day after day. So, Federer, Juan Carlos Federer, former world number 1, the Mosquito, I believe was his nickname because he buzzed around the court really fast like a mosquito, but didn't hit the ball super hard. This is before my time. Mr. Goat, you're not supposed to clean anymore. That was part of our deal. You're showing arrogance and bad discipline. The first months, Alex was more disciplined and respectful, but when he got more confident, he no longer respected the guidelines that I marked out at the beginning. It's a great shame the partnership has ended, but only time will tell if it was a good decision by Zverev or if his arrogance got in the way of what could have been a better partnership. Zverev will now play Indian Wells, starts March 8th, which is 3 days from today. What do you think of that, Mr. Goat? I can always spin you. So I don't want to brag. I don't want to say that I'm a big genius or something like that, but I sensed last year and this year that something wasn't ready mentally. Zverev, I said he hasn't proven it to me. He's not ready to be the great champion. Who knows? He's a young guy. He probably stays up all night watching Netflix. Maybe he's watching Coffee Break Tennis. You never know. But he's probably going to bed too late. He's dragging a little bit in the morning. He's showing up late, whatever. It doesn't mean that he's a terrible person or anything, but it's interesting. It's an interesting insight to help us understand that maybe if he's got little issues like that going on, he's not as devoted as, say, someone like Rafa. Because, Rafa doesn't have any problems showing up to practice on time. I can guarantee you that much. So just a tiny look into the somewhat private, professional life of Alexander Zverev. It gets a little ugly when your coach is saying stuff like that to the media. But hey, there's still plenty of time for that guy to win some stuff. So, by the way, the draw will hit tomorrow. So I might make a quick sip. Comment below if you guys think I should make, you guys and gals, think I should make a quick sip talking about the draw. With Rafa out, will Djokovic be there? That's another big question. But the main question is, who is Roger going to have to play to win this tournament and lock down number one for quite some time? When he's about 6,000 points ahead of Cilic, Roger might be able to hang on to this ranking at least to the end of the year. Let's see. What else do we got today? Roger Federer, F1 legend, Kimi Räikkönen. Oh, man. Some guy who drives Formula One cars. He challenged Roger. I only printed this because he's challenging Roger to play him. Roger, don't play him. Play me. Follow me on Twitter at CoffeeBreakTens, TENS. You can follow me on the instantgram at CoffeeBreakTennis, spelt out all the way. But follow me on Twitter and tweet this. Go at CoffeeBreakTennis, at Roger Federer. Please hashtag Bagel Matt. Roger, if you're going to bagel somebody who asks you to play them, who challenges you when the whole world knows that they have no chance, do it to me. Do it to someone who would really appreciate that bagel. Cherish every savory bite of that bagel. If you agree with me out there, go to Twitter right now, at Roger Federer, at CoffeeBreakTennis. Please, Roger, hashtag Bagel Matt. Brought to you by hashtag. And finally, last thing for today, want to get out of here pretty soon because we're late and can't wait to send somebody a t-shirt. Don't forget, today's the day where the number 1 comment and the number 20 comment get a free, low-quality, scratchy t-shirt that's very harsh on the skin. Tennis moving closer to taking the human element out of line calls. I saw this in the Irish Times, irishtimes.com. Thought it was very interesting. They're really talking about getting rid of the lines people. I know we've heard stuff about this, but according to this article, it's closer to actually being a reality. The ATP World Tour is currently testing Hawkeye Live, an electronic line calling device. They got a great picture of McEnroe there because without the human element of calling the lines, we might not have ever had a Johnny Mac. McEnroe said, "In our sport, things change really slowly. But if technology is there, all you really need is an umpire to call the score. It's not like it would be the players calling their own lines." The ATP's Executive Vice President for Rules and Competition, Gail David Bradshaw. I'm Matt Bradshaw. Maybe I'm related to this guy. Wait, Gail. Sounds like a girl name. So Gail Bradshaw, the Executive Vice President for Rules and Competition at the ATP, is talking about how they're trying all these different buzzers and sounds that can go off when the ball is out. And this is pretty funny, actually. We tried horns, buzzers, beeps. We didn't want to sound like the buzzer on Family Feud. And then they put in a bracket here for the Irish people, I guess. Since we're the international standard of tennis coverage, in 264 countries, you might not know what Family Feud is. It's a kind of corny game show here in the United States. And they put it in a bracket here, American TV game show. Finally, we decided to record different human voices yelling out so it doesn't sound monotonous. We'll add a different voice for the foot fault call. I understand that this may kill officiating, especially because our up-and-coming chair umpires are almost always lines people first, says Bradshaw, not me, the other one. We're also taking away some of the entertainment value with the challenges because fans like to debate whether they think the call was right or not. Then he's saying it's still going to be fun, basically, because they can replace that by just showing on the big Jumbotron how close the call was when it's out or in or whatever. I'm really curious about this one because to me, this gets rid of the challenge and the fun of, ooh, you know how they make the sound when it shows, like it zooms in on the call to see if it was in or out and the whole crowd goes, ooh. That was really fun to me every time I've been to an ATP tournament. Why are they going to get rid of that? It works very well. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting old, right? Maybe I just don't understand the young next gen mentality. Comment below. What do you think about getting rid of the line calls or lines people and getting rid of the challenge system and just having a robot? Well, they said it's not a robot. It's recorded human voices, so it doesn't sound monotonous. Whatever. Comment below. What do you think? We'll probably be back very soon with a quick sip. Good luck to all of you commenting, trying to be the 1st or the 20th, and I sure do hope you don't live very far away. Thanks for watching Coffee Break Tennis. We'll definitely see you on Thursday, 11 a.m., although we're usually late, not long after 11 a.m., and we will also probably see you with a quick sip on Tuesday after that draw comes out. Mr. Goat, you want to say goodbye? He's out. See ya!